Good morning, y'all. It's Wednesday. You know that I've mentioned Sally's baking addiction. I love her recipes and I love to watch her videos, hoping I can learn a thing or two. But anyway, today at DJ's Disasters, we are going to make the best chocolate chip cookies ever. Now, y'all know that I talked about chilling your dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together all the ingredients and then I'm going to chill the dough and bake them when it cools off. Now, y'all, she says you can, not just her, but lots of people say you can chill your cookie dough for days, 2 to 5 days. Well, of course, I can't wait that long. But anyway, I will chill them and I'll bake them maybe tomorrow morning early when it's really cool. As usual, I'm getting a late start. It's 9 o'clock. So first, I'm going to read the recipe to you. Now, she says that this recipe, and it has 5 stars, okay? Chewy. I love my cookies chewy. Cowboy cookies are chewy and they are so wonderful. She says in her description that this recipe has been penned 3 million times. That means 3 million times people have thought this recipe was good enough to pen. Okay, now, to make these cookies the chewiest, you melt your butter, you add an extra egg yolk, more brown sugar than white, and chill. Now, this cookie recipe has something in it that I have never put in my whole life in making cookies, and I've made a lot. In fact, I used to make chocolate chip cookies so much, Toll House cookies they were called, that I didn't need the recipe. I just remembered it. But anyway, chilling the cookie dough is imperative, but the ingredient that's in here is cornstarch. And this is supposed to make the cookies softer. Y'all, chewy, softer. Gotta love it. Okay, so it calls for 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, I read somewhere that if you're not sifting your flour, it's good to kind of just stir it up a little bit so it's not packed in your container. And then you spoon it. Y'all know I just recently got the proper cups into your dry ingredient cup. Now, here's something I noticed this morning. You see this knife? You're supposed to level off your flour. Using the correct amount of flour makes a difference in your recipes. But this is what I did. You see that rounded part? I used that and it dipped down into my flour. So I had to do it again and use the straight edge. I'm so bright, y'all. And you know I have to laugh at that. So what I've done is I've measured out all the ingredients and done kind of pre-mixing so I don't screw it up. Okay, it takes a teaspoon of baking soda, 2¼ cups of flour, and she says spooned and leveled. 1½ teaspoons of cornstarch, half a teaspoon of salt. Y'all know I use about 1/4 teaspoon because I always use salted butter. 3/4 cups or 1½ sticks of unsalted butter, melted and slightly cooled. If I put eggs into hot butter, I would have buttery scrambled eggs. You don't want that. Okay, 3/4 cups of packed dark brown sugar. I always use dark brown sugar. I've never seen a recipe that says use light brown sugar. Do not use dark brown sugar. And the difference is that the dark brown sugar has a little more molasses in it. And I love that. I'm going to make some molasses cookies. 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. 1 large egg and 1 egg yolk. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Love it. 1¼ cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips or chocolate chunks. Now, y'all, you know that I use these dark chocolate chips, and they're bigger than regular chips. So I'm going to call these chocolate chunks. I love them. Sometimes when I have a sweet tooth and I don't have anything baked, rarely, I will get a handful of those dark chocolate chips, and that does the trick. So I've got all the dry ingredients together. I have my brown sugar and my white sugar mixed together. And so now I have to mix all that in the egg. I'm going to mix all the wet stuff and the sugar together, y'all. Now, on her video, she uses 3 tablespoons of dough for each cookie. So y'all know those are big cookies. And she mounds them up. Oh, I don't have a whole egg here, but they're tall, really tall. She makes them skinnier and really tall, and then she chills them. Now, y'all, you can freeze those, and then you take them out and put them on your cookie sheet, and you bake them for an extra minute. So if you're industrious, you think you might have some company in the next 2 or 3 months, that's how long they're supposed to last, then put your mounded cookie dough on a sheet, slip it in the freezer till it gets, nice and firm, and then put them in Ziploc baggies. So depending on your family size, you could just bake 6 if you wanted to. Now, I would never just bake 2 for me because that seems a little wasteful on my oven, my gas. But it's really cool, and I'm going to try that sometime. I'm so disappointed. I had forgot about bingo yesterday until Miss Carol called me, and I had not prepared anything for refreshments. And I had one gentleman say, "Where's the cookies?" I felt really bad. So I told Azalea, next week, call and remind me the night before, and I'll bring something good. Now, I'm going to make an icebox cake. And one of y'all reminded me that that's what poke cakes used to be called, because you make them and you refrigerate them. So I'm going to make a vanilla cake, a white cake, and I'm going to use raspberry jello. And I bought some sprinkles the other day. Let me show you. Look at all these sprinkles. Aren't those cool? And really, they weren't too awful expensive. And they'll last for a long time unless I put sprinkles on everything, which personally, I don't care to eat them. They are very pretty though. Now, John, y'all will remember, he's the former president of the HOA, and he has a son that is autistic. And when I bake something, I like to take him some. And I have pictures of him enjoying his cookies. And that is so sweet that John sends those to me. So anyway, let's move on. Now y'all look. Oops, my thing's a little loose here. You see, I have my full egg and I have my egg yolk. Am I getting professional? You betcha. Oh my gosh. But I do want to tell y'all, I got, I believe it was 4 of these little glass bowls at the dollar store. 4 for $1. If I'm just going to feed Hazel a teeny bit of soft food so that she can take medication, those are awesome. And they're so sanitary and they're so easy to wash. They don't stain. They don't hold odors. Y'all know I love glass bowls, storage bowls, measuring bowls, all that stuff. I love them. Okay, so let me see if I can get this camera straight. So I've already put together my white and my brown sugar. Here's my melted butter, and it's been cooling off. So I'm going to put in my sugars. Y'all, I try to be so careful with this whisk. I don't let it soak in water. After I wash it, I rinse it quickly, and usually I have some sun in my window over here, and I set it in the sun to dry the wood really well. I'd be severely upset if something happened to this and I couldn't find another one. Okay. So then you're going to mix this together. Now, y'all, I could probably eat this by the teaspoon. And I know some of y'all are laughing at my wings. That's okay. I know y'all got them too. Even you men. So I don't let that distress me. So I'm just mixing this together really, really good to make sure that the sugar and the butter are mixed really well. Okay, now I'm going to add my eggs. I want y'all, where is it? I use my spatula for enchilada sauce. And of course, I knew immediately I should not have done that because plastic stains. Remember how we always used plastic to store everything? And you had those containers, you couldn't get that red stain out of them. Another reason to use glass. I tried bleaching that spatula. I tried everything. So I'm just going to continue to use it. But I like things to look nice as long as possible. So I'm getting these eggs mixed in here good. Ooh, that's a lot of butter. I love it. Oh yeah, that looks yummy. Yummy, yummy. Okay, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And y'all know that I measure right over my bowl, because if it runs over a little bit, who cares? 1, 2, 3. I know some of y'all were freaking out. I just like to keep you on your toes. Y'all will notice that I have on this ratty looking little, it used to be a dress, but you can see that's a little short, which is okay inside the house. It is the most comfortable garment I have. And I got it years ago when I was coming home from Washington one time, and I stopped at this huge Goodwill. It was huge. And I think I paid about $2 for this thing. It's rayon. I used to press it when it came out of the dryer. That stopped happening years ago. But I wear it all the time in the summertime. When I go out, I put on a pair of shorts or leggings or something underneath it. You know, I just need to do that. But anyway, back to the cookies. Man, oh man, Gary, this is a long video. Okay, so now let me double check my recipe. Make sure I haven't left anything out. Egg yolk, vanilla. Pour dry ingredients. Mix together with a large spoon or a rubber spatula. That's because the dough is going to be very soft and thick. And also, when your dough is like that, initially, your chocolate chips don't want to stay stuck in the dough. So you have to really mix it good over and over to get those chips distributed in that dough. And believe it or not, that's something I already knew. Okay, so it said to pour the dry ingredients into the wet, but I use the smaller bowl. So guess what I'm going to do? Yep. I'm going to pour the wet into the dry. Now, do y'all think that makes a big lot of difference? Now, this darling little whisk of mine is not getting it. Where's my red spatula? Now, see, that's what I should have used with my enchilada sauce. Woohoo! I'm so thankful that at least I have one brain cell. Can you imagine if I didn't? Okay. So, I have a large spoon. I have my wooden spoon. Now, y'all, I'm just about done using my wooden spoon, and I'm going to tell you why. I always scrub this. I wash it with hot soapy water, but I don't know. I've had it for years. I do the same thing with this. I dry it in the sun, and you know the sun is supposed to have, oh, cleansing is not the word I'm looking for, but you know the sun is really good for bacteria and stuff like that. So anyway, I am going to use it because I don't have another alternative. I don't like to hear the metal spoon on the glass. It's not so bad if I'm using my plastic bowl, but here's our guy for the day. So I'm just going to mix this really easy so that I can get all of this mixed in really good. Do you think that this is going to make a difference in my cookies? Because I mixed the dry into the wet instead of the reverse. Now, it didn't say to stir in a little bit and then a little bit and then a little bit, which you know you do a lot of times in recipes, especially when you're incorporating eggs into something. So I think I'm going to be okay. If not, I'm going to punish myself severely. Okay, it's doing good. You can see, but you want to make sure and get all the flour mixed in really good. When I'm spooning my stuff out on my cookie sheet, I do not like to see any white flour. This is really sticky. And you know what, y'all? This recipe only makes, I know this video, you're going to have to watch it in 2 separate sittings. This recipe only makes 16 of these huge cookies. Now, if you're going to double a recipe, don't double your ingredients, okay? It's not going to turn out, it looks like this is going to cut off because it's getting too long. So I'll start another one right away if it does that. But make your recipe in 2 separate batches, okay? Don't double your ingredients because it can affect your recipe. I'm cutting off, it's flashing. Be right. Okay. It cut off immediately. So we're started again. I'll have to hook these two together with Filmora or make them separate. Just like doubling a batch of anything. Just make 2 recipes of it. Okay. We're almost there. Now, y'all, she did not call for nuts. Should I make these cookies without nuts? Man, oh man, that is really hard for me to do. Maybe I'll make half of them without nuts, and then the last 8 cookies I will make with nuts. I love them. Now, I have to tell y'all, I try to buy cheap ingredients. Now, I don't do that with my chocolate chips. However, I bought at Smart and Final their brand of walnuts. And I have to tell y'all, they don't taste as good. But when they're all in that cookie dough, I don't think you can taste too much difference. Just when you're eating them by hand. And walnuts are supposed to be really healthy for you. Oh yeah, that's why I put them in everything. We know I don't care about healthy. Okay, so this is mixed pretty darn good. So now I just kind of spread my cookie dough out in the bowl like that and put my chocolate chips in the middle. Now it called for 1.5 cups. That's a good amount. Let me double check. Oh, 1 1/4. Now she does say that it never hurts to put a little extra chocolate chips. So here we go. 1, and I'm guessing that's about 1/4. Now, y'all know that when I'm cooking, my hands are always clean, and I have messed with my hair until I have no hair on me. But anyway, I'm going to show you one of these chips. They just seem a little bit larger to me, but maybe I'm just, imagining that. They do have a lot better flavor, but some people don't like them. So, now, I try to fold these babies in here to get them covered up with cookie dough. But, okay, y'all, it cut off again. I'm going to have to go through and see if I can delete some stuff, which I do all the time. But anyway, I'm just going to keep mixing this cookie dough until my chocolate chips are mixed in really well. I'm going to cover it and refrigerate it. Do something fun today. Bye, y'all.